trustees here today. We have one that's out for a family emergency, one that's traveling, and one that is joining us by phone, Dr. Tim Hager, to complete our quorum today. So if at this time you'll join us in standing, I believe Mr. Garrison's going to lead us in prayer.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for this great country we live in, Lord. Just be with those that are sick. Be with those that are traveling. Just watch over and protect them, Lord. Be with our decisions on this board. In your name we pray. Amen. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have the board books there this afternoon. We have the agenda for today's meeting. Need a motion and a second to approve that.
I'll make the motion if you'll second it.
How about a second?
We got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Dr. Hager, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you, sir. We have the minutes from the November board meeting. We did not have a December board meeting as normal. And do we have a motion to approve those?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 And those opposed? All right, consideration and approval of our college financial report. Ms. Eubank.
You'll turn to your financial section, begins on page 8 of your board books. Looking at the current fiscal year as of November, compared to that same time in the previous fiscal year, you see a very similar picture of what we've seen in previous months. Of course, tuition is behind where we were this time last year, but that's, of course, indicative of the enrollment pattern that we've been watching. On the following page, then looking at expenses, again, very similar to what you've seen in previous months. With page 10, looking at our net revenues minus expenses, just slightly behind this time last year. The next 2 pages, of course, are the details for those graphs. Then on page 13, we look at our budget versus actual as of December 31st. So this is halfway through our fiscal year. You can see that we've gotten 80% of our tuition fees. Course registration continues through January, so that number will hopefully bump up just a little bit as we move through January numbers, and because we did plan for the reduction in enrollment in our budget, so we should be looking good there. On the bottom half of that page, looking at budget to actual expenses. You can see using kind of that 50% mark as a guide. All of our categories are pretty much right where we want them to be, so very much as expected. On page 15, we look at our capital budget. We do have a number of projects in progress. We have begun to have a little bit of expenses on the Sykeston roof, so we've got that one kind of kicked off now. As well as continuing projects on the HVAC and the Westover updates, and several CARES projects that are funded with the HERF funds from the federal government, including keyless entry locks and some improvements at Timmon. On page 16, we've got another set of budget amendments for you here. The top half is your operating budget. You can see that sort of bottom section. The top section sort of walks you forward to the previously approved amendments to where we were, and then you see that last cluster of numbers being what we're proposing as some expenses, additional expenses there. Still will leave us with a $45,000 surplus in budget. And then the bottom half of that page are some additions to our capital budget. We made some changes to the ball field project to expand it just a little bit, so we adding some funds there. The same on the farm restrooms. We replaced the License Bureau parking lot, and then we have 2 reserves projects intended that were previously budgeted out of institutional funds, but will be able to cover under grant funds. So so actually reducing it for those. Following that, then you see there's actually two different cash and banks reports, one at the beginning of December and one at the beginning of January, since we did not have a board meeting last month. They're very similar to each other, not really significant differences there. Very much as you'd expect at this point in the year. We'll see cash begin to go up some here in the coming months as we begin to get in January or spring financial aid. And then we've also not reflected in these is the restructure of our debt that we did towards the beginning of January, but it was after these reports were prepared. So you'll see $5 million in cash, actually reduction there that we paid towards debt service. So you won't see that until next month. Following that, then on page 23 and 24, you see our list of CDs. We do not have any changes to that this month. And then finally on page 27, we have a couple of bids, one for the library RFID system and one for athletic insurance, which you actually have on your agenda a little later. Good news on the athletic insurance is it does look like we're going to see some savings on that from last year. Any questions?
No one has any questions for Ms. Eubank. Do we have a motion to accept the financial report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We'll now have Dr. Payne, the President's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving right into dead batteries. Aha, there we go. Counselors Conference. So the person that put that on, Ms. Davina Bixby, is here with us, so I'm going to ask her to talk about our annual Counselors Conference.
So on November 19th, we hosted the 34th Annual Counselors Conference. We had 34 people pre-register, 22 counselors actually attended, and we had 17 different schools represented. And this year's theme, I really wanted to, going out recruiting, we talk about how, we provide great services and support to our students. They're not just a number, they have a name. And really wanted to focus on what those services are so the guidance counselors can talk to their students. So we had staff from several different offices come and present how they support our students and really focusing on from the start of the application to graduation. So our attendees learned about updates in financial aid, our advising model, Achieve, TLC, library services, career services, transfers through the University Center, and dual credit. And we also want to promote our programs. So we created kind of like an expo where instead of just sitting and hearing about the programs, let's get hands-on. So we had a little bingo game that they got to play to encourage them to go to every single table. And what we had at the expo, we had Dr. Bragg, be available to talk about the transfer programs, the transfer pathways. We had Dr. Davis with agriculture, forestry, fine arts. We had allied health and nursing represented. They got to see, some of our dolls that they have in nursing, where the eyes follow them, all that fun stuff. There was CDL, fighter science. They had stations set up outside. IST with Dr. Malone. We have even the science labs, have stuff that was fun, hands-on to play with. Welding, we even had our choir sing to kind of promote the music part as well. We were supposed to have center stage have a little bit of a table, but they also had heating issues that day, so he was preoccupied with that. But overall, we got really good reviews. They loved the hands-on part. We had our ambassadors there. They loved talking to the ambassadors, seeing the students, as well as the faculty, the staff. So it was a very successful program. We've had people say that, in the reviews, favorite conference of the year. It's the first time they attended and they plan to return every year. And they thought the information was beneficial. They loved the interaction. They loved learning about the different programs. So So all in all, it was a great event.
Good. Any questions for Ms. Bixby?
All right, thank you, Ms. Baker.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then on December 10th, we held our annual Christmas breakfast. Mr. Schock is there in the upper left-hand corner of the slide. He was able to join us, and he ran the ugly hat contest. And we had some outstanding competitors in that particular event this year. So we ended the semester on a bright note with a lot of good fellowship and everybody getting their grades turned in on time. Also, we have here today Mr. Corey Reynolds. He is our program manager for our behavioral health support program, and he was honored by FCC Behavioral Health with their Community Collaborative Program of the Year award this year. So I wanted to bring Corey here to recognize him and have him tell us just a little bit about the partnership and his program.
So the Behavioral Health Support Program is an 18-month accelerated program offering an Associates of Applied Science and Behavioral Health Support. It requires 2 field practicums, further requiring for the students to complete 315 field practicum hours before graduation. This year in May, we'll be graduating 8 students, and this week we just had 19 new students come in, so we're excited about that. Last week, the Missouri Behavioral Health Council gave us an update that I'm really excited about. They have just completed drafting their proposal for a delegation for programs like ours, the Behavioral Health Support Program. The delegation will require for anyone who's going to enter behavioral health or mental health services here in the state of Missouri to complete a program like ours here at Three Rivers College at the associate's level. FCC has been one of my primary community partners that's offered a lot of support in one of my primary field practicum placements for my students. They employ over 700 employees. They're located in 19 locations throughout our region. So when their public relations officer contacted me and said that their employees, mind you, over 700, had voted on Three Rivers College and the BHS program as their community partner of the year, it really meant a lot to me. And then of course it went up to the executive level and they finalized that nomination, and it was a true honor to have received this award on behalf of Three Rivers College and the BHS program. Thank you all.
And what this really shows is the incredible amount of work that Mr. Reynolds has done in our community, in our surrounding area, to be out there, to be present, to build the relationships, to build those partnerships, and really make a difference. This program is growing, it leads to a really good job, and it's getting a lot of attention and really meeting the community needs. So it is a really great example of the things we do here at the college that make a difference in people's lives and make a difference in our communities. Thank you, Mr. Reynolds.
Congratulations.
And then spring 2022, January 10th is the kickoff for the spring semester. We held convocation. For the first time, I was not able to be part of convocation because I was out with COVID. However, I've been told the convocation went very well. We had quite a few activities and development pieces, a lot of kickoff meetings. So convocation is the day we all come back together after a break and get focused on the important part of helping our students move forward. And of course, January 18th, just 2 days ago, was the first day of classes for spring of 2022. It was a really good start. It had all of the standard pieces that you would expect for a first day of class. We had a number of students wandering around with the deer in the headlights look of, oh my gosh, where is this building? Where is this class? What am I doing? You can always, it's not as big an impact in the spring as it is in the fall, but there's always a group of new students in the spring that are wandering around, putting forth great effort to find their classroom for that first day. And that's why we have our ambassadors in all of the major junction points going, can I help you find something? And we get them on the way, and it makes for a very positive start. Want to talk about some upcoming events. So on January 21st, this Friday, begins our reunion weekend. It'll start with the Athletic Hall of Fame banquet, 6 p.m. Our inductees this year are Missy Whitney, Bill Swafford, Christy Deacon, and the 1992 men's basketball team. The Hall of Fame banquet, ticket sales have already closed for this, so if you have not gotten your ticket yet, I'm afraid it is too late. But Dr. Tim Hager will serve as our MC once again this year. We're always very happy and appreciative to have him at that event. Makes it run very smoothly and makes it great. And then the next day, on Saturday, is our actual day of the alumni reunion, January 22nd, which also happens to be my wife's birthday. So in celebration of her birthday, we're having the reunion. I have been told this does not work as a gift. We'll begin that day at 7 a.m. with a pancake breakfast in the Best Activity Center. Alumni art exhibit from noon to 4. The music department virtual concert will be at 2 p.m. The alumni star reception will be at 3 p.m. Then the evening games kick off at 5 p.m. With Lady Raiders versus State Fair, and then Raiders versus State Fair at 7 p.m. We'll also recognize last year's teams that went to the national tournaments, and we will recognize our Hall of Fame inductees that evening as well. So come one, come all, it's going to be a great evening, a lot of special stuff going on for alumni that evening, so come out and enjoy the evening. January 27th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the Best Conference Room, we have the Red Cross Blood Drive. And then finally, on February 3rd, our next patron show will be Tango Argentina. This is a really big show. It's going to be a very high quality performance. If you don't have your tickets, get them. Show starts promptly at 7 p.m. Then on February 4th, we have the District 20 FBLA Conference. We're proud to host them once again. It's a great event that brings a lot of high-performing high school students onto our campus for a full day. Whole lot of fun. They will be all over the Tenon Center participating in their conference. Then Jazz Fest is February 10th and February 12th. This is a big deal for our music department. We actually have the oldest Jazz Fest in the state, the longest running Jazz Fest, put on by our music department, Miss Cindy White and Mr. Buddy White. So big event there, and as part of Jazz Fest, the patrons have brought in Cornet Chop Suey, which is a jazz band, on February the 11th at 7 p.m. Tickets are available. They're on sale now via the website. And that, Mr. Chair, is the President's report. We do have a few items for executive session.
All right, do we have a motion to adjourn into executive session?
Yes, we do.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Trustee Hager?
Yes.
Trustee Garrison?
Yes.
Trustee Shaw?
Yes.
Trustee Featherston?
Yes. We're now in executive session. Thank you very much.
You not what?
We're in time.
Okay. We're live?
Yes, we are back on camera in session. Dr. Hager, are you with us?
Yes, I am still with you.
All right, thank you very much. That moves us to item number 6, which is consideration and approval for the athletic team insurance.
Yes, as a normal process, we go out to bid through our insurance broker every year for athletic insurance. This year, it came back and we are recommending that, we go with Gallagher and Bassett. Their recommended firm of Star Indemnity. This actually is a reduction from previous years of about $12,500.
I'll make a motion to do that.
You know what? That's a good motion, I'll second that.
All right, motion and a second.
Trustee Hager,
yes,
trustee Garrison,
Yes.
trustee Shock,
Sure.
trustee Featherston.
Yes. Discussion and vote on the change on SR 2210 admission requirements.
Yeah, there's actually no changes to the fundamental admission requirements of the college. The changes associated in here and the associated regulation are really clarifying some things for international students about language proficiency and cleaned up some references and some grammar issues.
Okay, any discussion?
I move to approve.
Okay,
Why don't I just second that?
all right, thank you.
Trustee Hager,
yes,
trustee Garrison,
Yes.
trustee Shock,
Yeah.
trustee Featherston.
Yes, we have several items in your packet today for consideration, discussion, and vote on employee personnel actions and associated documents. If you've had a chance to look through those, any questions, any discussion?
I make a motion to accept all personnel actions and associated documentation therein contained.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Hager,
yes,
trustee Garrison,
Yes.
trustee Shock,
Yep.
trustee Featherston.
Yes. Next board meeting is Wednesday, February 16th. If nothing else, call for a motion to dismiss.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Opposed?
aye,
We are adjourned.
Thank
Well,
you,
that's
Dr.
an
Hager.
idea.
my pleasure.
Go Raiders.
Just get the win.